You all know that I think the best way to experience Iceland is by renting a car and driving around the country yourself. But there's so much to consider when choosing a rental vehicle and a rental company and insurances and all of the things. So today we're talking about everything that you would need to consider for renting a car in Iceland. Hey Team Iceland, welcome back to this channel. My name is Jeannie and I am your tour guide for all of the Iceland planning things. Today I'm so excited to discuss a huge topic that you have to consider when you're renting a car in Iceland, and that is everything that goes into the decision. Wi-Fi, GPS, insurance, and all of the things. So let's get into it. So first of all, I want to talk about why you would even rent a car in Iceland in the first place. So the obvious reason, and most important to me, is freedom and flexibility. Renting a car allows you to drive around Iceland and enjoy all of the gorgeous landscapes that the country has to offer. Not only that, you're on your own time schedule, so you can literally control every minute of every day, where you go, how long you stay, things that you can't do when you join an organized tour. Next, and also very importantly, is that the public transportation system in Iceland is just basically non-existent. Compared to other countries, especially in Europe, there are no trains. The bus system is very, very limited. It's just not a great way to get around. So public transportation is not going to be useful for you in Iceland. So let's talk about what kind of vehicles are offered to rent. The first category is obviously a car. So everything from your basic two-wheel drive, compact size car, mid-size, and beyond. There's all kinds of availability here in terms of brands and things like that. You can also go bigger and get more of like a four-wheel drive or an SUV vehicle. So if you need more luggage space, if you have more people, if you want four-wheel drive capabilities, then that's what you're gonna wanna consider. You can also go even bigger than that and get what I call a big rig. So these vehicles are very, very specific vehicles that are modified to go into the highlands. And they actually have bigger tires that are not only four-wheel drive, but that also have capabilities of crossing rivers and tackling those big roads in the interior. And then you have the category of a camper van or a motorhome. And this is actually my favorite way to travel in Iceland because I absolutely love the flexibility of not only driving somewhere, but also sleeping in your vehicle. And this is totally possible with a camper van. Motorhome or RV, same kind of thing, but just has even more capability. So it's more like a living space, probably bigger. Sometimes they have a toilet included. You're also probably going to want to consider if you want a two-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive. Whether you need a two-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive really comes down to two major things. Number one, where are you going on your trip? And number two, which season are you traveling? Just as a reference, I've made an entire video on this specific topic, so if you want to know more about my direct answer, then please head to that video. But in short, if you're traveling the main paved roads around the country, and by that I mean Ring Road, Golden Circle, Reykjavik, Snæfellsnes, and things like that, and or if you're traveling in the summer, then a two-wheel drive is going to be fine. However, if you're traveling the highland roads, meaning the interior roads that go into the crazy mountainous parts of the country, and or if you're traveling in the winter, that's when I recommend a four-wheel drive. The next consideration might be if you need some extras like a Wi-Fi or a GPS rental. So these are add-ons that a lot of rental car companies will offer to you. I would say that these services usually cost $10 per day per service. Every rental car is different, but in general, that's kind of what I've heard for a price. I do believe that a Wi-Fi device is a lot better option than a GPS. I can't speak from personal experience because I've never used GPS in Iceland, but I have heard from some other travelers that the GPS didn't work as well as they thought, or maybe didn't have all of the places listed, and so it was difficult and maybe kind of a waste of money. Make your own decision, of course, but in my opinion, a Wi-Fi rental will get you so much further because you can use Wi-Fi to navigate in Iceland. You can link up maps from your phone or your iPad to navigate you. I think that's a lot better deal. Not to mention that if you rent a Wi-Fi device of some sort, then you can usually link that up with multiple users in your vehicle. So I think that this is not only more economical, just makes more sense for your trip. Bonus, you can use my Google Maps in my Ring Road ebook when you rent a Wi-Fi, which is literally the best GPS they need. So the next big consideration is going to be insurance. And this is a crazy topic because there are a lot of options for insurance in Iceland because there's a lot of elements in Iceland. So the first thing that you need to know is that all vehicles are required to be insured. So for example, in other countries around the world, you can sometimes deny the insurance coverage. That's not the case in Iceland. All vehicles have to have insurance. With that being said, most companies include the basic option, which is called CDW or collision damage waiver. From there, you will most likely have the opportunity to add other insurances on there for a lower deductible or things like that. Before I get too far into this topic, because it is a really long one, I am making an entire video about rental car insurance options and which one would work best for you in a future video, so make sure to check back for that one for a complete description. If you have any specific topics that you would like for me to cover in that future video, please drop your questions in the comments below so I can make sure to include it and answer them in the future video. The bottom line is that everyone's personal situation is different and every rental car company offers different insurances included or not. So all you have to do is refer to your rental company for the best protection for you. A huge money saving tip for you guys is to use Blue Car Rental for your vehicle rental company. Now you guys already have heard me talk about Blue Car Rental, so this is, I'm sure, not coming as any surprise, but the thing that is so helpful for using their services is that their insurance are already included in their rental price. So when you log on to a lot of rental car companies, you will see that baseline price, but then by the time you get through and you add all the insurances, it can be significantly more money. So this is one thing that's super nice about using Blue Car is that their insurances are included, minus sand and ash, but no one includes sand and ash, so just as a FYI. Speaking of, another thing that you're gonna have to consider is what company to use. So there's tons and tons of rental car companies in Iceland. Everything from your budget, Hertz, everything that you've heard of there, all the way up to your local companies. So you have to do the research on what works best for you. So a lot of the things that we've already talked about, like the two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, insurance, GPS, all of that will probably lump into your consideration with which rental car company you want to go with. However, another big plus for Blue Car Rental is that they're a local company. I personally think that this is really important when you're talking about renting a car in a foreign country because you're going to get support from a local. You're not going to get support from this big, huge company that's worldwide. I think that having a local small company on your side when you're renting gives you that extra peace of mind, it gives you better customer service. In my opinion, you can't beat it. With that being said, you guys, Blue Car has offered a very special discount for my readers only. So if you use my code, which is in the description box below, then you can get a discount off of your vehicle rental. And who doesn't love saving money? Now, along with which company you're talking about picking up your vehicle. So my best recommendation is to find a company that you can pick up directly from Keflavik International Airport. Some rental car companies are located in neighboring towns or all the way into Reykjavik. So you just really want to make sure to make your pickup process efficient. Keflavik Airport is 45 minutes away from downtown Reykjavik, so in order to make everything really smooth, you might want to consider picking up from the airport. Another consideration with this is if you are spending your first day or perhaps your last day in Reykjavik, so you're going directly from airport into the city and you don't want to pick up your car for 1 or 2 days later, then of course, maybe you want to make sure to pick up from Reykjavik. In this case, you would want to hop on the Flybus or Grey Line and catch a ride into the city. So this would save you that daily car rate, but of course your transportation cost will be around $30 per person for one way. So you just have to balance out if that's worth it or not. All right, let's talk about fuel. It's expensive, if you weren't expecting that already. Remember that fuel has to be brought into Iceland, so it's very, very expensive on that tiny little island in the Northern Atlantic to get fuel. And I'm talking $6 to $7 US per gallon, or $2 to $3 per liter. Yikes. Now in this case, you're gonna wanna budget about $50 to $60 US per day for fuel prices, depending on how much you're driving, of course. Note that diesel tends to be a bit cheaper, and then usually diesel vehicles also get a bit better fuel economy as well. Lastly, guys, just some really basic tips about renting a car in Iceland. So first is that peak rental season is between May to August. This means that not only are cars going to be more limited, obviously because there's more travelers, but that the prices might be just a bit higher or at their max at that time. If you're traveling in other times of the year, then it's possible that you can get some discounts. In Iceland, we drive on the right side of the road, so my American travelers will have no problem with this. Also really important is that an international driver's license is not required to drive or rent a vehicle in Iceland. Last tip, very, very important, especially when you pick up your rental car, is to take lots and lots of photos in and around the car. So usually the company will go outside with you and look through the vehicle and mark down all of the things, but just to totally make sure that you're fine. When you return the car, they will be checking again for damages. So anything that you think, is suspicious and you want to document, I recommend taking pictures so that you have that to refer to later. All right, my friends, I hope you learned so much and you feel more confident on how to rent a car in Iceland. If you guys found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up or share it with a fellow traveler that might need this information as well. I'll see you guys next Wednesday for another Iceland video, and until then, happy planning, friends.